everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm coming on to show you guys how I made this kind of embellished embroidery hoop, but it's also a pocket so you can like slip little goodies inside. I really like how it's turned out. I also added some trim on the side just to make it feel a little more softer. I just think that adds a nice detail to it, and it's also a shaker as well. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so what you're going to need to start off with is an embroidery hoop. I picked this one up from Daiso. And I picked it up from here in Australia, so that means it's $2. You're just going to tighten the hoop straight away, because if you don't, it's going to fall out and it's going to be a bit annoying. So you're going to just tighten it up like so, and you're just going to have your embroidery hoop simply like that. You're going to want to use some paper. I've got this 6x8 paper pad that I would like to use. It's the Sweet Stories one. I'm going to choose two papers, one for the backing piece, so here, and then one for the front piece, which is going to create the pocket, but they need to be cohesive. So I want to go with pinks this time because I went with more of a muted, like softer tone last time, so I want to go with some pinks. I do really like this paper. What you're going to want to do is grab a pencil and flip your sheet of paper over, and you're just going to trace around the embroidery hoop so that you can then cut it off. So I'm just making sure that it's centered, and then I'm going to trace around it. This embroidery hoop is 15 centimeters, so it's just under 6 inches itself, but that's in the internal bit is just under 6 inches. And I will just need to tidy up that bit there. So I'm going to cut this out. Now I'm not too worried about the sides being like that because it's going to be glued on, so I'm not too concerned. So there's that there, and as you can see, once it's stuck on like that, you can't see anything at all. So that'll be going on there like that. I'm going to keep this to make scrap things with anyway. And then I'm going to want this piece. Now, you need to position it as to where you want it. If you would like your pocket to come up halfway, you're going to cut it halfway. I kind of like it to be a little bit lower than halfway, as you can see with this one here. Rule a line of where I want it to go, just as I did before. This is probably one of the easiest things I've made because it's all tracing. You know, you don't have to measure it exceptionally well. I am going to now just trim this down to where I want it. So I'm going to cut it there. Again, keep the scraps, and I'm going to cut it off now. Okay, so here it is. I've got my bottom piece, and then I have my top piece. And I'm quite happy with how they're looking. I think they look really cute together. I also like that I have the foiling element. So the next thing that you're going to want to do is choose something to use to make your shaker. I'll grab some things to show you that you can use. Okay, so there's multiple different things that you can use, and depending on the thing that you use, it'll give you a completely different look. You can go with vellum, which will make it a little more muted. Depends on the theme that you're going for. I'm not going to use vellum this time around. You could use just clear acetate, which will not change the pattern in any way at all, and you'll see it perfectly, which could work. I'm not sure yet. You can use tulle, which this one here that I have will give it a nice glittery effect, and I also like the circles. It makes it a little more whimsical, but I think it's going to clash too much with the way that that pattern is set. Or you could use some acetate like this, and I do really like this acetate, but I think that the patterns are a little bit too busy for it. So what I'm considering doing is using the vellum in the background because it gives it a nice whimsical look, and then the acetate at the front. So I think that's what I'll do. So what you're going to want to do is cut your sizes so that they are going to fit exactly what you need it to do. I always like to cut a little bit extra. I just think that it works better for me. In case I make a little mistake, I can always just trim around the excess. So I like to do that. So I'm going to just trim it. And that'll be for this piece here. And then I'm going to use this tool here for the lovely swans because I think it's going to add a nice whimsical look. And to me, I think to most people, Sweet Story is a very whimsical collection. So I think it'll be nice and cute. The next thing you're going to need to do is to create a sequins mix. If you're going to make it a shaker. If you're not going to make it a shaker, you can skip all these steps. For my sequins mix, I do have one here that is going to work quite well, but I want to add a little bit of gold to it. So I have these little gold ones here that I might add in. And I'm just going to put the lid on and give it a little shake just to make sure everything's mixed up. So there we go. I think that's going to look really cute with the Sweet Stories collection. A little bit of yellow might add to it, but I'm happy with that. Okay. So, because this section is going to be hid down the bottom by this piece, I'm actually going to sew it kind of across the center so that there's this big bit that doesn't have sequins, because otherwise you're just not going to see them. So I'm going to sew that, and I'm going to leave a gap so that I can, about 2 inches wide, so I can fit my sequins in. Okay, so I've trimmed off the majority of the excess to show you. As you can see here, there's a hole that I can stick in the sequins. So I'm going to just put them in and then stitch it up and then trim off all the excess. Okay, so there that is, and then that is going to be stuck down there like that. I need to now sew on this piece here, which will then go over the top. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to use our hot glue gun to glue the pieces to the back. So you're going to just put your hot glue all the way around and then stick it down, and then you're going to do the exact same piece with this one and then stick it down. And that's how that's going to work. Okay, so here it is, my hot glue gun's heated up. I do want this to be the... I'm actually going to flip it over. I'm going to do the back as the front and the front as the back. I just think that, like, I don't really want to see that thing that says 15 centimeters, so I will do that. I'm going to put a bead of hot glue down, and I'm just simply going to stick it on and then press down. Now it's okay that there's a little bit of excess because we will just trim that. That is fine. Like so, and then I'm going to go around carefully filling the rest of it in. So the back piece is glued on. Now I'm just going to glue on the front piece the exact same way. I like to start off with a dot in the center and then work my way up. Just to ensure that I do actually have it in the correct spot. So there we go, and then I will just lift and go all the way around to the top. Now it's time to the fun part, which is the decorating part. So I'm just going to grab a whole bunch of embellishments that I have, and I'm going to start layering. Now, I don't have the chipboard for Sweet Story, but I do want to use a piece of chipboard. Now, there is this giant piece here in the Fresh Bouquet chipboard that I think will work over here in the corner. Something that I've been doing a lot lately is just peeling the backing off the chipboard There we go. I think that it'll be good if it's kind of in the corner here, and then I can layer on some of my other pieces. I do have this bow that I want to go at the top. I think it's just going to look really cute. I'm going to use my standard vellum ruffle. I love it. It's my favorite. I'm going to stick those pieces on and then I'm going to work on the other pieces. So like, there we go. There's that bit there. I would like to use one of these beautiful butterflies that comes with the Sweet Stories collection. I want to ruffle up that vellum bit though, so it's sticking up a bit more. It's going to come off, so I'm actually going to put some glue on there because that vellum piece has completely come off. I don't want that to happen again. Now this is blending in too much to that. So I'm thinking I'll do this one here and do the exact same thing and then stick her on. So I'm happy with that. I'll put those away and then I'll take a look at the stickers and see if there's anything I want to use. I haven't even really looked at these yet. I really like that cone. I think it could work on there, like so. And we're going to stick on our little butterfly as well. Stick on our bow at the top. The bow I do want to just make sure that it's nicely centered, so I'm just going to pick it up to do that piece. Put some pom-pom trim around the outside like that, and I think I will do that, so I'll do that now and then come back. And there we go. That is how you make a loaded embroidery hoop. So then that will just tuck inside, or any little gift that you want to tuck inside. So the thing I think I love about these embroidery hoops the most is that once you take out all the goodies, you know, you can use this as a piece of decor, and they just look so gorgeous together. So I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope it helped you out on how to make a loaded embroidery hoop. So thanks for watching, guys, and if you enjoyed it, please subscribe. Bye.